So, the ETSI Quarter 2 2023 financial results are out. This rude computer. This is a time, if you haven't been here before, where I go through the financial statements. I've sat up last night and watched the investor call. Now, why would I be doing such boring things as this? Well, quite often they have little nuggets about the direction that ETSI is going to be going in. So I have the presentation in front of me, as you can see, somewhere around my big face. We have the presentation, and I also have pages of notes I took from the investor call, the presentation that Josh, Rachel, and I can't remember the other lady's name, they give a presentation and then they go through questions and answers at the end. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, it is the ETSI 2022 financial results. It was just released yesterday with a presentation last night. Oh, before I go into it, people will ask what this has done for the ETSI share price. They released this after the close of markets on yesterday, and the markets haven't opened yet, but I will update this in my ETSI news on Saturday. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe here and come back on Saturday for all the news for the week. It's already shaping up to be a big one. So, first bit, maintained our GMS gains, grew revenue, and delivered strong profitability in Q2. Right, I'm going to quickly explain what these things are and why it does make me a little bit angry. So, GMS, gross mean sales, this is how much income came in to all the ETSI sellers out there. So 3 billion for a quarter. I mean, that's a ridiculous. I can't even imagine that amount of money. But it's kind of flat. It's slightly down year on year. So that's to be expected for anyone freaking out. The world changed in 2020, as I'm sure we all noticed, but ETSI got a massive amount of sales, and then this is the decline as people are constantly getting out a little bit more, so it is to be expected. Revenue is how much ETSI made, so 629 million, and how much ETSI is getting in sales went down slightly. How much ETSI is making went up slightly. Could that be because they are slightly shifting their focus? Not 100%, but they are looking more at sellers as customers rather than sort of partners. And they're definitely trying to get as much money out of us as possible. And that's even me, who's not as cynical as most people. EBITDA is earnings before taxes and whatever. That's their kind of stuff. I don't really care about that. What did Josh say here? Josh gave this part of the presentation. Josh is the CEO of ETSI. He basically just said this was in line with expectations. I have 2.6 billion written here, so I assume the 2.6 billion is how much ETSI made. The other marketplaces, ELO7, which we're going to get to, Reverb and Depop, all add a little bit of money into there as well. Okay, many key ETSI marketplace metrics trended positively during the quarter. So year-on-year growth rate improved sequentially in GMS. Yeah, that's because they do some massaging of the numbers. But May, June, and July, they're saying it did grow year-on-year. How? Look. Year-on-year, it's down. So you're massaging the numbers. New buyer additions represent a combination of new and reactivated buyers. So it was up 7% year on year. And I wrote down, this is the highest ever active buyers that ETSI has ever had at 90.6 million active buyers. That's a lot of buyers. GMS ex-US, a positive growth rate. So they're saying outside the US, some of the other markets, they specifically mentioned Eastern Europe is growing quite well. Active buyers, all-time high. Why am I reading it this way around? That is not how we read in this country. Early signs of stabilization in GMS and buyer habitual patterns. And to give them their due, that this is fair. It would be nice if things were growing all the time. And as sellers, we have to be realistic about this as well. Things grew so much during the pandemic and things are changing back just now that was a peak. And we can't expect the massive sales that we had. And this is an interesting thing. GMS, how much money was spent on Etsy by buyers was down a wee bit, but we've got the highest number of all-time buyers. So they will tell us they are spending a little less. And I think we've probably noticed that. Big, bold and impactful investments designed to make Etsy more organized, curated and reliable. Yeah, they've increased the relevance of search results. That is always a thing. So when you say, oh, the Etsy algorithm's changed, it's always tweaking to try and show buyers better products, basically. And he did mention a few times during this wanting to improve the quality of listings. They want to show the best quality listings. So they're doing what they can to teach you what that is. But at the end of the day, you're hearing established shops are seeing a big fall in sales. Now, this happens all the time. This is nothing new. But I heard him say this and I thought, ding, ding, ding. Is as the search is getting more relevant, wanting to show buyers the better things, these big sellers, like I'm not a big seller, but some of my photographs are over 10 years old. They were doing well. My listings are over 10 years old. They were doing well. They're not necessarily the best anymore. So when new people come up, when new people make better things than me, they're going to sell better than me. So it could just be that us that have been around for a while need to up our game. We should always be doing that. But this could be another reason why things are dropping for some people. But anyway, so welcome new buyers to the joy of Etsy. That sounds kind of rude, doesn't it? Organization and curation. They are talking a lot about like curating what people are seeing. So your homepage and things all across the internet. Things are moving a little away from search. I just thought about that today. Like you're watching YouTube, I'm watching YouTube. The number of times I physically search for something is so much less now compared to I just open YouTube and look on my homepage. And if something I don't like the look of that, I'll look on my homepage again and I'll watch through 10, 20 videos before I search for something. So, and Etsy is everywhere is going like this. So there will be a little more of people finding things through categories, through the homepage, through all sorts of other places. Elevate the best of Etsy and keep buyers coming back. Gen AI, I assume that's general AI or generative AI and curated search. They mentioned later on, I do remember this, they're talking about they have like a group of experts who are picking out, curating some of it is the best of Etsy. We'll probably come to that in a minute. They're curating the best of Etsy and feeding that into the AI. So the AI can start to learn, oh, we like pictures that look like this. We like titles that look like this. So interesting. So search, so the AI is learning more and more what's good, which is really good, but it's sort of also, to me, runs the risk of making things a little stale or a little samey. The team will be picking things they like the look of. That's cool. But are they following on for the trends? Everywhere on Etsy, I was thinking behind the screens at the presentation, the people have a very minimalist background. And I was thinking, people will be curating things that look kind of minimalist when minimalist isn't the trend anymore. or isn't trending as high as it was. So it might reduce the chance for you to do really, really well with innovative new types of photographs. But we have to wait and see. It's the kind that'll probably happen maybe for a few months, and then Etsy will tweak things again. But it was just a thought I had. Yeah, highlighting the best of Etsy, the curated search, that they have people picking the best of Etsy, and frequency initiatives. I think he just glossed over this, but I think increasing the frequency. They are wanting more and more people to buy more often on Etsy. So it's kind of cool. They're saying, yeah, there's a whole load of people, they want to come in and learn about Etsy, and that is happening. That is growing quite quickly in other places outside the UK and the US. But they also want the customers they've got to buy more often, and it's totally fair. I buy several times a month on Amazon, maybe monthly on eBay. I don't buy that often on Etsy. That's kind of bad because I'm an Etsy seller. In fact, let me know in the comments, how often do you buy on Etsy? Um, yeah. Instill trust when transacting with us. This is important, but it's also the thing that annoys people the most. Delivery speed and reliability. Yeah, so basically they're forcing everyone to buy Etsy labels, and predicting when things are going to be delivered, as we've seen, especially in the UK before Christmas when there was a postal strike. Etsy were telling customers the items were supposed to be delivered when there wasn't a hope in hell of them being delivered. So lots of cases were opening. Which is, thankfully, the purchase protection program came out. They're expanding payments. They seem proud of the fact that they're just closing off cases and paying people. They charged us more, so this is our money they're just giving away to customers. Oh, I sound so salty today. But anyway, they're expanding awareness of the purchase protection program, which is kind of good in that I do like the idea, on some sites where you go to buy it and you're a bit wary of it, but you hear, oh, if there's any problems, here's the steps. That's good. I worry they're going to be spamming customers like, your item's supposed to have arrived. If it hasn't, try the purchase protection program, nonsense like that. And instilling trust with customer support. They were kind of proud of the AI working with making customer support better. It's not making customer support better. Communicating with a robot is what is annoying people the most. Yes, people were mad in the past that they couldn't get hold of customer support. Now they're getting hold of a robot, and I get it. This is filtering out a lot of people. A lot of people might have an easy answer to a question, the robot answers it. But quite a lot of people, the robot answers the question. It doesn't answer their question. They're mad, but they step away. So it's reducing the amount of real people that have to interact with real people. So if you do need to contact customer support, keep on asking your question until a real person answers you. But yeah, annoying. Be the platform sellers love to sell on. Oh my goodness. Um, a few key examples, and they give one key example: a seller growth suite, including personalized insights and actionable recommendations. This is these stupid things that you get emails or that pop up on your dashboard saying, oh, you could ship faster, or, oh, do this thing. They're insights and recommendations, but people freak out. And there's going to be more of these saying do sales. Mark my words. Anyway. Oh, we did get another number. I like numbers. 115 million items are currently for sale on Etsy, according to this. Anyway. So here's the search engine talking about making Etsy results more relevant. So you have the exact text base. Do the words you search for appear appear in the listing title. Notice they're only saying title there. Tags are still important, but people put too much importance on tags. The title's your most important real estate. So that was the initial search engine, which is still very, very important. But then they moved into XWalk as well, the interactions between buyers, listings, and shops. So they're also looking at, I think the example they keep liking to give, if you've been searching for a lot of mushroom and resin stuff and you search for lamp, they might be slightly more likely to show you a resin mushroom lamp. I really haven't seen that show. I have sat and I have tried to force it by doing a search for like multiple Gothic things and then searching for a ring or something, and it does not show me Gothic rings. So I don't think that's as big a deal as they make it sound. And then we have semantic neutral IR. Do we understand what you're looking for, even if you don't know how to describe it? So they're talking about making the search show you what you meant to search for, regardless of the actual words, which is kind of cool. But all these things, they're cool, but what they do is reduces all down to an average. If you're slightly different, if you like slightly different, I see, speaking of YouTube, I see that all the time. The actual YouTube homepage, although I say I don't search very often, I'm finding the homepage is showing me less really interesting videos and more, I'll click that videos. And I think that's what Eatsy's going to do. It's going to take away the spectacular and show you, oh, that's good enough. That's my fear. That's what I'm seeing. AI, these kind of tools are in the early stages and hopefully it'll get better. But if you're a little weird or a little bit different, then these kind of semantic things are not necessarily going to show you exactly what you want, unless there's a lot of weirdos out there. But yes, so here again, we're talking about we're focused ensuring that relevant results are the very best quality for you. So yeah, we totally have to jump in there and train algorithms. I have to stop watching the meh videos on YouTube and search for the really good ones. And on Etsy, we're going to have to do that as well. So teach it, this is good, instead of just letting the team of people somewhere in Central America that all are in their own little bubble of what they think is cool. But anyway, so the quality, visual appeal, photographs people like. See, the better the algorithms are going to be getting, the more important really good photographs are, because that's the thing that makes you stand out. You're trying to game the system with your titles and tags and stuff are going to be less and less important. They're still going to be important, but if your picture sucks, bye-bye. Quality of service, star seller. They didn't say it, that's me saying that. And priced appropriately. Stop the focus on price. Beautiful quality items should not be Amazon prices. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, here's curation at scale. I've lost which slide I'm on for the comments anyway. Curation at scale. Innovative to leverage human creation in our machine learning sets. Yeah, so this is what I talked about a minute ago. Yes, so the curation, the best of Etsy are curated by humans and then fed to the machine learning, and the machine learning starting to learn to create. And I think we can sort of see even what they're showing as cool things is all a very simple, it's very stylized. So what we're going to have to do as sellers is look into what are the types of photos that these people are picking, and we might have to sort of try and not copy them, but what's the feel there, and try and go for that. But the one good thing is the feel there is not Wish, Temu, Shein, or whatever else. It's not the mass produced photograph. Like that jacket is not a stock photo that they just Photoshop different patterns on. If you're doing that, maybe you should think about not doing that. I don't know how they already doubling the number of quality listings. But yes, so they have a human created high quality merchandise library. With the goals of having millions of curated listings used to train our machine learning data sets. And then we have helping buyers find the good stuff aligned by individual tastes and preferences. And as I said, that's an average of individual tastes and preferences. But anyway, okay, yeah. So, whoops, can't get this in the screen properly. Yeah, here was a little nugget. So the wedding registry was launched earlier. Was it this year or last year? I can't remember. They're now going to, the next thing coming up is going to be a baby registry. So you're going to be able to, people are going to be able to create a baby registry, which could be good for those of you selling baby type products. Shop the look is kind of cool. Again, this is curated looks. This is a house, but I'm sure this could come along with clothing and everything as well. You do see it on Shein and Temu and stuff, but you have a dressed set and saying you can buy these pieces. So you could have a person, dressed with bags and earrings and stuff and shop the look. It's kind of cool. I am assuming that Etsy are paying these designers really well to get their pieces anyway. Highlighting quality items with Etsy Pick. I did in my Google Analytics video talk about how you can see if your listings were found when they had an Etsy Pick button on them. So you can have a look at that. But yeah, that's what they're talking about, the shop, the look. But the baby registry was the big thing there. Baby registry happening. Oh, yeah. Ugh. While solving a buyer's individual budget, elevating great deals available from Etsy sellers. Yeah, great deal. They're going to be, I said app. I'm not sure. Yeah, in the app, they're going to be working on, well, no, they're working on an app to help buyers find great deals. This is so freaking annoying. Listen, look at it. Find up to 40% off. And they're doing this. This is on the Etsy home just now for many people. A big freaking banner saying 40% off. 5-star gifts under $30. Don't miss 30% off. So yeah, it's going to, I hate this. This sort of just is going to say for a lot of buyers, they're going to feel pressured into doing this. And just wait, it's not just going to be little sales, but they're going to feel pressured into doing this. And many new sellers haven't even figured out what Etsy fees and everything are, so they're making a loss. Much more of a loss is coming up. 40% off when people at 100% are not making a profit. Oosh, oosh. So we're going to have to talk more to sellers about making sure their prices are good enough to be able to hold all of this. And check your local laws about pumping your prices up and then having a constant sale. It's likely illegal where you are. But Etsy, like, looking at this, my first thought is, yeah, that's what you should do. You're going to have to put things on sale all the time or have things under $30. I will say there is going to be a kind of way around this. Rather than having big sales all the time, get rid of last season stuff. Have a sale section in your shop for getting rid of stuff. But anyway, that did make me very annoyed. So continuing to make Etsy more reliable and joyful, improving how we highlight sellers' unique items. We've removed 29% more listings for violating our handmade policy. Absolutely, people are noticing their stuff's getting taken down. Unfortunately, as I said, I've been saying for years, when Anywhere does an automated system for finding things that aren't allowed, it's going to catch things that are allowed. So you've got to keep on messaging Etsy and saying, "Hey, hold on, hold on, mate. Everything I've made here is totally allowable. Let me know what's going on." Doing a better job living up to fulfillment expectations, added local delivery signals to US listings, making it easier for buyers to shop local, also supporting our net zero plans. So people are mentioning, international sellers are mentioning that they've seen a drop from Etsy, from US sales. And yeah, Etsy have promoted shop local, kind of, they've put localer items higher up in search from any international countries. Now it looks like they're realizing to do that in the US, which is going to be a bit of a pain for all the growing international people. However, yes, net zero, get things quicker and with less hurt on the planet. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain. And dialing up awareness of Etsy purchase protection program, which we already mentioned, customer touch points, marketing, seller education, and targeting new buyers to reinforce that Etsy has your back. An interesting thing, we've seen a lot. I've been talking in Etsy News every week about the Etsy seller's been put on reserve. This is in the news everywhere. And some people have mentioned that they've heard people hearing this are not being put off buying on Etsy. They actually feel it's a good thing because it means that they feel more secure that Etsy's got their back, which is a kind of interesting way to put it, but fair enough. But yeah, they did say the cases resolution of cases has improved by 80% and it's speeded up and everything. And of course it blooming has, because cases are just getting closed down and payments are being made out. I hope they're keeping track, because they want to it's fair enough if a customer's bought hundreds of things and opens a case once. But if customers are coming in and opening cases on just about everything, they're scamming Etsy. And they're scamming Etsy sellers who aren't eligible for the purchase protection program. Yeah, I'm going to cover this quickly just now, actually. Etsy's making this cool, and it is cool, kind of, for those of us that can be in the purchase protection program. But if you can't use Etsy labels or don't want to, there's very good reasons not to want to in certain countries. If you can't send your items tracked, many countries, this is not a very viable option. Or if your items are over, it's $250, your items are not eligible for the Etsy purchase protection program. But that doesn't mean they're not eligible for you, in that basically Etsy won't cover it out of their money. It doesn't mean that Etsy won't automatically close the case. They do, and they do it out of your money. So if you're not eligible for the purchase protection program, figure something out so that you're aware that if a customer opens a case, Etsy is just going to take that money off them and off of you and give it to the customer. Hopefully they're going to work on changing that. In fact, we really have to start complaining about that, because complaining seems to work. So helping, onto page 2, helping sellers expand their business in a sustainable way. So they talked about this extensive seller growth suite. Oh, buzzwords. How glad I'm not to be in the rat race quite like that again. I hated all these buzzwords, including price discovery functionality. Price. Ugh. The new make an offer program to expand beyond vintage items. I think we mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. I hate the make an offer. You can opt in. It's saying Make an offer program well received with US vintage sellers. Was it? But was it? Plus an high engagement with habitual buyers. The thing is, whenever they do any of these things, they send out messages, they tell sellers what they're doing. A lot of sellers just do it because they feel they have to. They feel if they don't do it, they won't be seen in search or they won't get any sales. So people are opting in to make an offer because they feel they have to. Oh, here we go. I missed this. Just one example of the various price discovery functionalities we're evaluating and testing. I haven't seen this actually. Yeah. So you can click on an item and it tells you the prices of recently sold items. The listing is aligned with the medium price range. This listing is below the medium price range. This listing is above the medium price range. So basically, they're saying, oh, well, you look at this item, it's overpriced. Oh, how much do I hate this? So, Etsy sellers' margins are too small in many cases. And this race to the bottom. So, the price is above the median price. And also look for things that are on sale. Oh, yeah. Anyway, and they're highly successful Etsy Up events to communicate ways sellers can drive growth. Yeah, the Etsy Up, I sat in on it. There was some good SEO stuff. Most of it was boring. Oh, I have to cover this. Yes, sitting watching the presentation is boring. It's very, very boring. There are nuggets in there, but it's very dry. And I've thought that Rachel, the other woman, that she's doing nothing wrong, but the presentation is quite dry. And I thought, oh, they should do some editing tricks and stuff. And then I wasn't watching her quite so much. I was writing stuff down, and I did notice. I'm not sure what they've done, but when you're pre-recording a video, you usually have to do cuts, like, when I just coughed, you'll cut that out, or if you stumble over words or something, you'll cut a section. So in general, they used to just cut it, but now I think it could have just been a video sort of swipe where the old part of the video, the new part sort of swipes down over it. So basically what's going to happen is, as it swipes down, the bit above is the new part of the video, the bit below is the old video. Or I think it might have been some kind of a warp, so that one shot warps into the next, but it did involve her face doing some quite funny things, so that kept me entertained. Rachel, I'm sorry, like, it's just editing. Yeah, but yeah, the video is very dry. Why did I get? Oh, Etsy Up, yeah. So their videos, yeah. Anyway, harnessing AI and machine learning technologies to improve customer experience. So improving the seller experience, easier onboarding. You can open up your shop and it'll be immediately closed, and when it's open, you'll be put on reserve. Yeah, that's easy. Improved listing information and variations. Yeah, there's some stuff in the Q&A I'll get to in a minute. They're talking about listing, so that's interesting. Feedback on sellers' items and shop. Oh, yeah, so they're bugging people to leave feedback, I guess. And we'll go enhancing the buyer experience, easier search and discovery. Yep, always good. Better understanding of the purchase intent. That's the same thing, search and discovery, but we know what you tried to type. Was this what you really meant? Improved buyer journey. And then the crossover where the buyer and seller meet, member support, fulfillment, trust and safety. Yeah, so hang on. Yeah, I missed the heading there. Yes, this is the machine learning thing, of course, yes. So all this is stuff that the AI is doing now. So it's taking away from the information and everything being human, and yeah, they're talking about machine learning, and there's more. I will just most of us don't necessarily understand this so much, but democratizing machine learning. So they said they have a team of really great machine learning people, but basically they're expensive. So they any change addition to machine learning now used to take months, but now they've set up a system where any ETSI engineers, not machine learning experts, can implement machine learning into any of the updates they're doing. So they can do this, planning for 90% faster being able to roll out things. So taking away from the experts to be able to roll things out quickly. It's kind of worrying to me, especially we've seen there. I get it. Like they want to be able to announce, oh, we've done so many new experiments, we've done new tests, we've done all this. And what's happening is it feels like to me that engineers are being pressured to roll things out faster and faster so they can say they've done so many things. And what happens when that happens? In my opinion, we've seen this with the new ETSI app. They're forced to roll this out at a certain date, and it's not finished. The same with the new listings creator thingy. These things are getting rolled out before they're finished. The new listings creator thingy, you can't do the things that they added in the other listing manager builder, whatever you call it. I'm losing words. It's early in the morning. But yeah, so things like you can't add alt text yet. That's not been brought in. There's tons of things in the app which they were beta testing for quite a while, but then they just decided, oh, it's not done yet, but we're going to shut off the old app. So yeah, just do your best. So anyway, there's an awful lot of I was feeling positive. I'm not feeling positive. So yeah, creating brand sizzle that attracts new buyers and builds loyalty. Yeah, so they did ETSI collaborations, the ETSI Design Awards. The winners are out and everything. We'll talk about that. I mean, yes. Again, it's good to have collaborations, people picking things like this guy, John Legend, did a collaboration, and yeah, you can see his style and stuff. That's all really nice. But as I said, with these kind of collaborations and everything, it sort of appeals to the average. And I don't like that. That's probably because I'm not average. But yeah, it's his aesthetic, and they've picked someone, okay, it's something. It's something, but I just don't want to get everything to be average. Anyway. Okay. Doubling down on initiatives to drive frequency and GMS per buyer. So we said, although there's more buyers than there's ever been, they're spending less. And ETSI is wanting to work on getting more buyers to buy more often, and they found that ones who come back quickly after they've made their first purchase are more likely to buy more often. I think they're not understanding cause and effects. Like buyers who come back quickly are the kind of buyers who buy lots of things. So the people who don't necessarily come back really quickly, it doesn't mean that bugging them to come back more quickly will make them a bigger spender. And this, yeah, basically they're making a top priority to drive frequency, and what that seems to be is bug new buyers more. So OMG, tell us everything. Like seriously, 2007 want their excitement back. But yeah, that's hate that. But yes, ETSI buyers are bugged to leave feedback. Don't do any more of it. They're bugged enough. Yeah. Hurry, up to 60% off. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, so basically get thrown to sale things. Um, so they're showing the sales, showing the coupons. Oh, look, there's a coupon for an item that's in your cart. And it's so annoying. I'm hearing so many people now who are Etsy buyers and they say, oh, they just stick loads of things in their cart to see if they get discounts. They're not even interested in buying half the time. But yeah, so Etsy planned this coupons for an abandoned cart as a thing to entice people back. What it's actually doing is stopping them buying. They're coming on, and if that coupon thing hadn't existed, they would click and they would buy. But now it exists, so they just go through a load of things, adding it to their cart and then forgetting about it, even if they do get a coupon. So it's training behavior that Etsy didn't want, or I certainly don't want. Yeah, they talked about the other brands. ELO7, I mentioned in last week's news that Etsy is announcing they're selling ELO7. It didn't do what they wanted it to do. It wasn't making enough money like they predicted it was going to do coming out of their global unpleasantness. So they ditched it. And then the hilarious thing is after this, they put up the Depop thing and go, Depop's doing well. It's like a real threat, isn't it? We code ELO7. Depop, you're doing all right. We're watching you. But I'm not particularly interested. We're talking about Etsy again. Reverb's doing well, but we're watching you. We might cull you as well. Okay, so yeah, what Etsy's wanting to aim on. Now, Etsy's focusing on Christmas 2023, and we totally should be. They're working hard to make Etsy everyone's gifting accomplice, making the hard gifting missions as easy as pie. So whatever your gifting missions, Etsy has it. AI tools to help buyers find handmade things that will arrive on time. Yeah, so quality, shop well crafted, customized gifts they'll live on time. Value, shop well crafted, customized gifts for all budgets. But customize. So again, they're gonna push. This is a good point, actually. I used to have customized in a lot of my listings, and I noticed that Etsy was promoting personalized. They don't mean the same thing, but anyway, so I changed some of my listings to personalized and they really took off. I see they're mentioning customized twice there, so I might add customized instead of personalized. But yes, for all budgets. But okay, we know they're pushing for sales and things, but they were also showing the pictures of fine stuff at $15 and under, find stuff at $30 and under. So if you can, it might be a good idea to make a range of higher and low priced items. For all budgets is one of their things, and have confidence my gifts will arrive on time. Yeah, hate that in that what that does is Etsy is going to be showing as it does, this is when the item should arrive. But it's very tight and it's not always correct. So yeah, customers get mad because they buy something with Etsy saying, oh, it'll turn up by this date, and it doesn't. And it's not our fault because we're not saying it will turn up by this date. What I would do there, don't set your processing times so tight. Give yourself a bit of wiggle room, because it's better in the long term for customers to be surprised in a positive way. If they ordered it and the dates say it might arrive on time, but it actually arrives early, customers will be happier. And then this was the presentation that Rachel did. So again, she's saying GMS flat, so we can see the numbers. Q2 2023, millions, 300, 3.013 billion whereas quarter two was 3.03. So it is down slightly. It's not a massive amount, but it is down. And if we look at the trends, this is what we see all the time. Quarter one is higher than quarter two, is higher than quarter three. So we're coming into the most difficult quarter of the year. So don't expect amazing things for the next 3 months. This is where the focus should be. Push for Christmas, push for Halloween, get seen by shoppers, get squeeze what sales you can out of here, but this is what we're looking for. But as I said, the revenue, I don't know what take rate means. Could someone let me know in the comments? But that's going up. But anyway, up 7.5% year on year when Etsy's bringing in the same or slightly less in customer sales. Yeah. So how did they do that? So, yeah. What is increasing the revenue? They did mention Etsy ads are making more money. They started in the last quarter showing more ads in the search results without dropping conversion. So there's less organic listings and more ads, basically. So, yeah, they're spending more of your budget on more ads. But there's spoke about more about ads, but yeah, so they're making more money from Etsy ads because they're showing Etsy ads in more places. More ads mean more money. And also, I'm trying there's nothing there, but she did mention that you're selling to there's been a growth in international sellers, and Etsy makes more money off sales in international sellers because they charge us more. Our payment processing fee is slightly higher and different, and so basically there's more sales from international customers and they take more money off of us. That did annoy me quite a bit. There is also the increase from the Etsy transaction fee increase compared to last year, because I can't remember when it went up. EBITDA is slightly up, earnings. Returns on product development. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is how much money. Number of product development launches. This is up 50% year on year of new launches of things, new things that we didn't ask for on Etsy. Gained leverage, brand marketing spend. Yeah, this is how much they're spending to make people know about Etsy. The only thing I've noted from these two slides was, wow, she used a lot of acronyms, a lot of strings of letters without explaining what any of them are. Active buyer mix is interesting. So existing buyers increased, reactivated buyers was down slightly, and new buyers was down slightly. Between the difference between 2019 and 2022, but the actual total of what they're considering active buyers is up a wee bit. There we go. Overall, Etsy marketplace quality year-on-year performance has trended in the right direction. Etsy marketplace GMS. I'm not sure what they're actually meaning there. Is that just that the Etsy GMS has gone up while everything else has stayed flat? They didn't mention that. It's a sort of a comparing things, comparing to last year, the trend. So comparing to 2021, it was down a lot. Got it. Yeah, got it. So comparing year on year, it's very little difference where it was more volatile in the downward direction. So, okay, yeah, I get it. So it's down by less. So things are starting to flatline and hopefully they'll start to trend up again. But she did say the demographics of how things are spending, rich people are spending more on Etsy. They're spending more than they used to spend on Etsy. But poor people have less money than they did. And poor people is anyone under 100,000 a year in Etsy speak. I'm saying poor people. She didn't call us poor people, but anyone under 100 grand a year now has less money and are spending less on Etsy. Obviously, there are more poor people than there are rich people. So most people on Etsy are spending less. And yeah, as well, the GMS in the UK dropped as well. Etsy marketplaces, not even sure what they're saying there, but she did say UK and the US has dropped a bit. I think France and Germany was kind of okay, and like Eastern Europe is doing really great. Have I skipped a slide? Yes, I'm not doing enough slides, but here's domestic thing. Yeah, not US GMS is up 5%. Solid growth in Germany and France. I was a bit ahead of myself. And good in non-core Western European. I keep saying Eastern. Yeah, so not Germany, France, and the UK, but everywhere else is looking kind of good. Year on year improved in several top categories. So what's been doing well? Home and living, apparel, and craft supplies. Yeah, I keep saying that craft supplies, it did do well in the pandemic when people were staying at home and crafting. And as we're going into difficult times, people want to open a second business, a side hustle. So go into crafting a bit more. And I see new shops opening all the time. I look at the new shops, and craft supplies is less saturated than you would think. People are constantly opening print on demand shops, jewelry shops, clothing shops, home and living shops. They're not so much opening craft supplies shops. And craft supply, can be a little bit easier. I certainly know, in your country, you will have different craft supplies than we have in other countries. So it could be interesting. You could curate some cool craft supplies. And we saw strength in horizontal categories, purchase occasions. Yeah, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all that did good. Already said this, all-time high in active buyers. Yeah, congratulations. We've got more people spending less money. And they're saying GMS per active buyer is showing early signs of stabilization. So yeah, we said it has been dropping. 2021 per active buyer, they were spending $137. I think that's per year, per quarter. Yeah, probably. And now they're spelling set that, but they're spending $128. So each person is spending less, but it's higher than it was in quarter two, 2019. Yeah, that's stop comparing to 2019. The world has changed. Things have changed. There's a lot more sellers as well. And yeah, reactivated buyers, new buyers. I'll leave this here for a second if you're interested in it. I'm not really interested in it. This is Etsy's nonsense. Yes, new and reactivated buyers is up 7%. It's great keeping buyers. On did I make any more notes here, or did I just get totally bored? I mainly got got bored. Habitual buyers, doesn't she did mention Germany and France are seeing strong growth in people buying more often. And also the drop in habitual buyers is quite a lot of habitual buyers who, I think, what that's people who buy like twice, I think, and then repeat buyers buy more than twice. So quite a lot of these are moving into this category. Quite a lot of people who bought a couple of times are now buying more often. Um, and there's balance sheet. That's for these shareholders. Well, I'm a shareholder, but shareholders who understand this. And they talked about the future, which is basically meh. We're not financial experts. Nobody knows. We're not economists. Depends what happens in the world, but we reckon it will be kind of flat, basically. They said it'll be sort of okay. And then they went into the Q&A. So, quick look. Yeah, for all they're saying, we had the highest ever new buyers at 90.6 million. There's 100 million lapsed buyers. 100 million people have signed up for an account and shopped on Etsy and never come back. As we said, Western Europe is growing well. Yeah, this when they're talking about relevancy for buyers, because we know relevancy in SEO terms, meaning how relevant your listing is for the keyword, having it in your title and tags and stuff. But relevancy for customers is trying to show them what they meant, not what they said. And as they already mentioned, looking at the most appealing image and the most appealing price. Blech. Investing in tools for the promotions, investing. I don't have it written down anywhere, but what they were talking about is tools that are going to look into. I must have written it down. Tools that are going to look into what promotions are working and at what times. So to be able to message you and say, hey, did you know that a sale at this time of the year sometimes works? And also to tell you, did you know that 10% off is rubbish and customers don't care about it? Is roughly what I got out of that. Oh, this was an interesting thing. Josh mentioned how on the search page you sometimes see a lot of variations. Now, he didn't mention clumping from the same seller. I got the feeling it was you see lots of the same thing. Now, they should just be removing that if they're noticing it. But what they're planning to do is collapse it to show only one of a type of item rather than, not lots of similar. So this actually might be a thing that hurts the non-handmade people, the people who are reselling. Etsy's having trouble getting, and also the copycats. Yeah, if you've been selling well for something and someone tries to copy you and steals your photo, you won't even get shown in search. You might get collapsed under the original person. I hope this is how it's going to work, but that was something I heard. Yeah, ads, they have been working on the algorithm for ads, making it better and better. I think the algorithm for ads is planning to get even better than the algorithm for Etsy search, because at the end of the day, they want the customer to find the item they want to buy. So it's important that search shows good things. But if they search and see lots of good things and buy the ad, then Etsy makes extra money. So there's a push for Etsy to make the ads so much better that basically people don't buy from organic search. They buy. I'm being cynical again. um, we didn't talk about it yet. It is in my slides for Saturday's Etsy news. But there has been an announcement that the payment reserve for high-risk sellers, they are adapting this. They want to make it clearer to sellers, because currently sellers are put in reserve and they have no idea why they're high risk. Usually because Etsy's trying to bully you into using shipping labels. But they're reducing the amount. I've heard people are on reserve for 75%. That means Etsy withholds 75% of their sale price for like 40 days, which is horrible. They did say the number of sellers in reserve is in the low single-digit percent of sellers. That's still a lot of people. And 70%, they're only holding a small amount of money. But so that means 30%, they're holding a large amount of money. And I'm hearing people with thousands of pounds in reserve. That is, they've made so many sales or big ticket sales, and they've got to wait a month before they're seeing these thousands of pounds or dollars or whatever currency you've got. Oh yeah, ads. I mentioned. I'm just okay. I'll read out what I wrote down because I was trying to write really quickly when they're talking. So, ads won't be using up your budget if your items suck. Was what I wrote. What I actually meant was they're talking about improving the algorithm and stuff. They're wanting to show ads that people are likely to buy. So if your listings aren't very good, ads are totally good. They already don't work very well for you. They're going to keep not working. Ads are only going to work for listings that make Etsy money, basically. And they did, as a final thing, Josh did mention, he was asked about AI tools, what more things they're doing. And they talked about things could include, they might consider using AI to help fill in your listings. Could be interesting, but a really good thing. I mean, I was taking that to be sort of like the listing helper in eRank. But what he did say was what they really want to look into is making sure that it's not going to end up with a load of basically identical listings. So making sure that the AI, or if they're going to use an AI, it doesn't produce bland identical descriptions basically. Now the AIs don't produce identical descriptions, but that says to me that they are noticing people are putting in very low effort listings that are created from an AI. So if you are using any tools for your descriptions and titles and stuff, rewrite them a little yourself. Look, you use these tools to give you an idea of a starting point, but don't just use these tools. That there's no low effort way to churn out hundreds of good listings. You have to get the AI to do the thing and then go in and look at it and go, what do I think of this thing that they've done? Is this in my voice? Would I say that? And just tweak what they've done. Anyway, so that was the quarter that was. Let me know what you think. I do this every quarter. I listen to this, I read the presentations, so you don't have to because it's boring. Anyway, right. I hope that recorded, and I'll see you next time.